Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to take a look at our urban worm bag that has the European night crawlers in it. So it's been 50 days since our last update, and we gave a big feeding last time of around 8 pounds of food. I'm sure by now, after 50 days, it's all gone. And what we're going to do is we're going to add another 7 pounds, 9 ounces of food in this feeding and give it another fairly large feeding, and we're going to hopefully get to the bin a little bit faster than that 50-day mark. I've really been trying to keep it down to about 14 to 21 days, max of maybe 25, but, you know, life is what life is, and you sometimes just can't get down here in time to work on this stuff. Especially with videos, it gets a little bit tougher. Now, I do need to harvest this system at some point, and I think that will be during the summer as we're going into these summer months. It's still currently May here, and I'll be needing this compost in my yard to kind of fertilize my plants that I have and try to bring that nutrients back into my my garden or yards that I have. Or I should say I'm growing grass really instead of plants, but you know, that's just what it is here, but I don't like wasting it by just throwing it out. So that's where it's going to go. It's going to go to my yard and towards my trees and hopefully sort of rebuild my soil. It's very densely clay material. So with that, let's take a look at this urban worm bag. Let's add this food in and let's see how this system is doing. All right, here we are with the urban worm bag. We're going to go ahead and open this up. As I said, it's been 50 days, and I also do want to mention that I do have links down below to purchase this and all the other stuff that you're finding in my videos here. So with that, oh, look at this. This is starting to tilt over. Now this is our container here that helps to prevent fruit flies. So this is their fruit fly trap in here. And it looks like there's a worm stuck up in here, but it looks like it's doing okay. I refreshed this fairly recently, so we're just going to put that off to the side. Hopefully there's not too many worms in there. Remember, these are European night crawlers. So with that, let's go ahead. It looks like it's a little dry around the edges, but the middle looks nice and moist. So you can see here, let's just pull this back a little bit. See how things are going here. So you can see there is a layer of cardboard, but most of the worms have, most of this food it looks like is already gone. But let's just see here as we get down here. This is the cardboard they're working on. We did put in, it looks like some wood chips last time, some pine shavings, it looks like in here. Look at this. You can see these worms look very, very healthy. And they're moving around like crazy in here. I really think it's great to mix up the bedding material like this and add some different things. We got a corn on the cob right here. Those take a long time to break down. Let's just see what's under here. Look at this. You can see this material looks really good. It's probably a little bit moist in the bottom, more moist than it should be, but they're really, really checking out this layer of, I can see some mites in here too. But they're really checking out these pine shavings, which is not surprising. It's probably nice to have something a little different to eat every once in a while as a bedding material. And I don't throw pine shavings in here very often. So they are working on that bedding. It's taking them a little longer, it looks like in some areas. You see a pumpkin seed right here. Those things can take forever to break down, or they will actually make it through your compost and start growing on the other side. Just so you know, there is a chance that you will end up with pumpkins if you throw pumpkin seeds into your bin. I've had that happen before. So that's just one warning. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Just be prepared for it. I've also seen the same thing with tomato plants as well, where they end up in your garden and you didn't plan on it. You can see the more worms over here. Got avocado pit, and these things take forever to break down unless you break them apart. And we got some shells over here with some worms in them. They do like avocado typically, but the shells can take a while to break down as well. But now they're pretty soft and pliable. And they'll break down pretty quickly once you break them apart in here. And you can see this one right here. You can see I can just bend it in any way, any direction I want. No big deal. Let's just go ahead and move this out of the way a little bit. You can see that they're really chewing through this stuff. We had that layer of cardboard. There's some cardboard by the side that's a little dry, but other than that, they're really churning through this material. Let's just go ahead and spread this back out a little bit. Let's get over on this side over here. All right. And by the way, in these systems, I've mentioned this before, but you really wouldn't dig around like this. You would just continually throw stuff over the top. I'm doing this just to show you what's going on. You really would just want to slowly build up and let the material settle in the bottom. As you can see, there are tons of worms in here. They're doing a great job of chewing through this material. Although you might want to check every once in a while just to make sure that the material you're actually putting in is disappearing. I don't think that would even matter, though, if I just continually added to the top. Little baby European nightcrawler there. Well, not baby, I guess maybe a juvenile at that point, but still. Look at that. We've got some sort of plastic wrapper, or no, probably wax of some sort that was on something, maybe an apple or something like that. So you will find this sometimes in your bins. This will break down though, this wax. It just takes a lot longer than some of the other stuff. So again, I'm seeing some pine shavings in here. And it looks good. Oh, there's a grape stem. So we had some grapes in here. You can see all the worms crawling around right now. Look at that. So they're nice, healthy worms. They're really trying to dig down in there, get away from the light. And this is a great sign. This is a great working bin. They're doing a great job. Let's just clear off my glove, kind of smooth everything out. We're going to give the worms a slight chance to just escape here, so that way they don't get, they're not directly in the way of the freezing cold produce that I'm going to throw on here. Actually, you know what? I might throw in just a little bit of cocoa coir or something on here too. I think I might do that too. Let me grab that real quick. All right, so I've got some cocoa coir. This is dry cocoa coir, so it's not wet. Maybe a little bit moist in some areas, but it's pretty dry. We're just going to kind of spread that around here as a layer of dry material. This is going to absorb some of the moisture that's in here. I know it's a little bit dry, but the cardboard I'm throwing in is going to be pretty damp because I put in a little bit too much water this time. So this will help absorb some of that water, give the worms another place that they can go to get moisture if they need it, because this stuff really holds moisture well. In fact, I could, if I have a little bit of water over here, I could dump some on here. In fact, I think I will. Just add a little bit of water. You can see this change color here. So when you have cocoa coir, and you just see it just kind of shrinks down pretty quick, but it really absorbs water well. So we're not going to add a whole lot because we are going to add our, actually, you know what, before we add our food, actually, you know, we'll add our food now, and then we'll add the grit. Gosh, I'm not thinking straight today. So first, food right here. Oops. There we go. There's our first container of food. We've got lots of banana peels in here, which I've been trying to break apart more frequently instead of just throwing them in whole. Got some broccoli, it looks like, or broccoli stem, I should say. He's thawing out a little bit here, at least on the outsides. We have, break this apart, more avocado shells. Look at that, another pit. We go through a lot of avocados in the house too. Just trying to break these shells apart. I'm trying to get better about breaking stuff apart as I throw it in here instead of just throwing it in whole. It does break down a lot faster when you have it in bits and pieces rather than just a huge chunk of food. Unless it does some hot composting, but still, you should break apart your food. The smaller the pieces, the quicker the worms can chew it. So there's a pear, I have an apple, coffee grounds, very standard stuff for my bins. Looks like there might have been some strawberries in here too. More coffee grounds. Again, I'm just trying to open these things up a little bit. Let the worms, make sure the worms can get in there, work at it and everything. So there we go. All right, more coffee grounds. A lot of coffee grounds in this one. And tea grounds. Usually my wife has coffee, I have tea in the morning. But I know at one point I did run out of the honey that I add to my tea, so I started drinking coffee with her every morning. So let's just see here. Break this part just a little bit more. These tea bags really, or these coffee filters really stick together well, especially when they've been wet. All right, I think that's pretty good for this one. Wouldn't mind breaking that apart a little bit more, but it's all right. It'll break down by itself there. All right, second one in here. This one's really heavy compared to the other one. And as you can see here, now this one has limes in it. Now, banana. Now this one has something very interesting in here. So this right here is cheesecloth. And I'm pretty sure that is a natural material. It's usually used for straining things in the kitchen when you want to have something that's edible and you don't want, you don't have a fine mesh strainer, which I don't happen to have. And what I did is I made a Brazilian lemonade. So that's what this is right here. This is a ground up lemon inside of here, actually. I'm trying to open it up here so I can peek inside. I don't have another glove available, though. But it's essentially just ground up lemon in here. There we go. Almost got it open. Hopefully you're able to see this. I know this is a bright white, but there's essentially ground up lemon in here that I ground up. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, let's move it up so it'll adjust maybe to this brightness. There we go. So there's ground up lemon in there that I put through a blender with water, and then I strained it out to make a Brazilian lemonade. And then I know it's limes, but that's the way it says it's supposed to be made. I think some of the sites were saying limeade. Some of them said lemonade. So I was really surprised by that as well. I don't know which one's right, but it was really good. For those curious, you blend it. You strain it like this with 4 cups of water, 4 limes. Blend it up just a couple times with a pulse function so you've got these big chunks. And then you strain it and add condensed milk. And it was really good. It was very sweet, but really good. So if you're looking to try that, I highly recommend it. Look for a recipe online. I'm sure you can find one. That's where I found mine. There you go. Here's some big coffee filters. More tea. This one actually has a lot of... This is a lemon tea, I think, that I have over here, too. Or more of a lemon... it says lemon tea, but it's really more of a lemonade. All right. So we're moving through this pretty quick here. Now, that was a big chunk right there. Just see if we can break this apart a little bit more. This is really frozen together here. I think I poured a little bit of leftover tea or something in here, so it's really frozen solid. Obviously, the water is going to make it a little bit more solid than it normally would be, especially since coffee and stuff will absorb water and hold it while it freezes. Again, some more tea right there. All right, I might just have to call it quits on this one. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it apart anymore. It's really frozen solid here. So we're going to keep this in the center. There is a full lime in here. Oh, here we go. I was able to get the lime off. That one had gone bad before I was able to make the lemonade. Feels weird saying limes and then lemonade, but yep. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But as I said, I saw both, so I was really confused. But a lot of people were calling it lemonade when I looked it up. So, all right, here we go. Apples. Oh, we got some celery in here too, it looks like. Or is that lettuce? Oh, it's lettuce. That's lettuce, not celery. And then some strawberries. So there we go. This is a good mix of food. This is a big feeding. This is going to really have a lot of moisture in this, probably right here, this block. And now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and add our crushed crab and eggshell. Especially because we've got limes in here, we really want to add that. So I'm going to put on a mask. You should always use a mask when you're working with this stuff. Nice and tight, well-fitting mask. And now we're going to go ahead and add this. We're going to add quite a bit here, especially where there's lots of lemon lots of lime. There we go. We're going to add quite a bit here. They're going to have a lot of grit this time. There we go. All right. Tons of grit in here. That's perfectly fine. And now we got to add our cardboard. Now there's a lot of water in this cardboard. As I said, I poured too much water in the container when I was soaking it. So we're going to see a lot of water probably pour out here, which is why I added that cocoa coir, hoping that'll help soak up some of that moisture. Be a little bit more slow in dumping it out this time. You can already see the water in the bottom of the container there sloshing around a little bit. So I'm going to pour all that in here because I don't really want to just leave it in here. But let's get at least some of the cardboard in here first, or all of it. It is just dripping water, this cardboard. So it's really, really moist, which is good because the bin was a little bit dry. There we go. Might have to add a little bit more cardboard, actually. Huh. It was a little skimpy on the cardboard this time. Maybe I should have pushed this down a little bit more. Oops. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and pour this in. because I like to leave my container empty so it can dry. No chance of mold or anything like that. I usually let the cardboard sit for a couple hours to soak it up. All right. And that is good. That's my update for this bin. Hopefully we'll see it in a little sooner than what it has been. A little faster than that. Oh, we actually, you know what I almost forgot? I almost forgot to put this back in there. We got to put this guy back in there. Make sure any bugs that get in here, they hopefully will go in there and die in that trap over here in the corner. But that's it for my update. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And remember, I do have links as well to a site that has a whole bunch of stuff on it to purchase if you're looking to get into worm composting like this, or if you're curious what gear I'm using. I'm trying to link that stuff as well. So again, thank you for watching. Until next time, keep composting.